She barreled right through my front gate like it was nothing more than a flimsy suggestion, not the heavy-duty steel barrier I'd shelled out $4,000 for last year. It was a scorching summer morning in 2023, right here in our quiet suburban enclave on the outskirts of Austin, Texas. I was out on the porch, mid-brush with toothpaste foaming at my mouth, staring in disbelief as her glossy black Tahoe crunched over the twisted metal like it was crushing cans at a tailgate party. No heads up, no sorry, just a throaty engine roar and a tire squeal as she swung into her own driveway, like some entitled action movie antihero on a caffeine crash. The real twist? Her entrance was clear around the bend in our little loop street. But nope, my yard had apparently become her personal express lane because, as she'd later claim, detours are for the inefficient. Her exact words, dripping with that holier-than-thou vibe. I spat out the foam, eyed the wreckage of what used to be my secure boundary, and pondered what kind of soul ignores property lines and basic decency in one fell swoop. Then, out she stepped Brenda, in all her neighborhood overlord glory, massive aviator shades, skin-tight athleisure leggings, and a high-end fleece jacket with the price tag still dangling like a badge of excess. She barely glanced at the mangled gate, treating it like a minor speed bump in her upscale mall lot. I geared up to speak, but she cut in with that fake sweet smile and a tone laced with pure patronizing poison. "You should have cleared that eyesore with the HOA first," she said, as if my fully permitted setup was some rogue fortress. "It disrupts the neighborhood vibe." Brenda had recently crowned herself the unofficial Vibe Guardian, a made-up role she'd flaunted in her endless next-door rants. In her twisted world, this gave her carte blanche to dictate driveway etiquette, mailbox aesthetics, and even if my grill emitted too much aggressive smoke. I held my tongue, just glaring at the deep ruts in my grass, the splintered posts, and her smug smirk. This wasn't a freak accident, it was the boiling point of months of her escalating insanity. She'd griped that my outdoor lights were overly intrusive, then tried to sick animal control on me for a squirrel feeder she deemed a magnet for freeloading rodents. But today, she'd crossed every line, literal and figurative. I snapped a quick pic of the damage, nodded coolly, and headed inside. Sure, I could have exploded, dialed the cops, or rallied the HOA drones who always buckled to her whims like wet paper towels. But rage wasn't my play. I needed strategy. And a blowtorch. The next day, I sketched up plans. I'm an engineer specializing in high-security setups for warehouses and tech labs. Think biometric locks, motion-activated barriers, and anti-intrusion grids. I'd once designed a vault door that could halt a charging semi. So rebuilding my gate. Nah, I went full upgrade. From the outside, it mirrored the old one. Solid, unassuming, with a weathered patina to blend into our laid-back Texas vibe. But underneath, a masterpiece of calculated comeback. Spring-loaded, sensor-triggered, it could snap shut post-breach, forming a tight enclosure without harming my turf. Not built to hurt, just to contain. If her Tahoe nosed in again, she'd be pinned in like a prized steer at a county fair, front and back blocked. Escape? Only via a side pedestrian latch I controlled remotely. And perched above? A high-res cam, not for spying, but for capturing every entitled grimace in crystal-clear detail. It took a solid week to install. Meanwhile, I left the ruins taped off with bright yellow caution strips, not for safety, but because Brenda despised visual chaos. I caught her snapping pics daily, no doubt emailing her sister on the HOA board, the self-proclaimed overseer of curb appeal. Whatever. Let her plot. Let her think I'd caved. Then came that fateful Saturday. I was nursing coffee on the porch when her engine growled around the curve. No brake lights. No glance my way, she plowed straight over my lawn and into the gateway, right on cue. Her front end cleared. The rear? Not a chance. With a thunderous clang, the barrier sealed behind her. Locked tight. She was trapped like a luxury beast in a custom corral. From my spot, I watched the panic unfold. Confusion first, heads swiveling wildly between the unyielding walls. Then the horn. Short blasts morphing into furious wails, as if noise could bend steel. I lifted my mug in a mock toast. She jammed reverse, nothing. Doors wouldn't budge in the narrow squeeze. Her slim frame couldn't even wriggle out. Her face flushed beet red, like overripe salsa left in the sun. Window down. She bellowed my name Tom like I was her errand boy. I stayed put, firing up my phone's cam feed to immortalize the spectacle. Her mirror yelling, wheel pounding, frantic calls, probably to her HOA cronies. And finally, her scrambling out the sunroof like a flustered armadillo in designer gear. I remotely unlocked the side hatch just as she stormed my way, finger jabbing, voice cracking with fury and bewilderment. You'll pay for this. This is false imprisonment, illegal entrapment. I have attorneys. I smirked, sipping slow. You've trespassed twice now. Got video, tracks, repair bills, and you're on cam throwing a tantrum for the whole street. Walk away before you humiliate yourself further. She halted, glancing back, neighbors emerging, phones out, one dude filming sideways like an amateur. His grin? Pure schadenfreude gold. Brenda straightened her shades, mumbled about psychological instability, and slunk off. But her parting shot, voice wavering. You'll rue this. The quiver in her tone screamed, she already did. Next day, an envelope hit my mailbox, not hers directly, but HOA branded, with that telltale centered script and a whiff of overpriced Odo entitlement. Inside, a cease and desist farce, citing bogus, vibe harmony rules that hadn't existed when I bought in. My gate was now an obstacle to serene transit. Serene transit, her masterpiece phrase. Signed by the interim transit and safety coordinator, another fantasy title she'd conjured over brunch. A parenthetical threat. Remove it in 5 days, or else. I chuckled, scanned it, highlighted the nonsense, and dropped it anonymously into our neighborhood app. Reactions flooded. HOA loyalists defended, but more shared Brenda horror tales. One fined for expired holiday lights, another dinged for a demonic yard gnome. Her vibe crusade was older and wider than I'd known. That evening, a neon sign popped up by my fence. Alert. Non-compliant structure violating vibe protocol. Report to HOA. QR code linked to her DIY complaint form. I snapped it, captioned, "Who's launching her own DMV?" and the chat likes exploded. The momentum shifted. Brenda was overplaying, and folks savored her slide. But she ramped up. 2 days later, knocks at my door. 2 HOA lackeys, Bob, a retired bean counter with zero charisma, and Mike, a newbie padding his resume. Reports of hazardous builds. Bob droned from his clipboard. Here to inspect. Got a warrant? I countered, coffee in hand. HOA rules. No entry rights. I cut in. Sidewalk view only. They eyed the gate warily. Twice. Footage ready to share. Mike coughed. They backed off, retreating to her porch where she lurked like a field marshal. We locked eyes. She waved triumphantly. I waved back, Broadway style. Game on. Then the city notice hit Brenda's zoning complaint, painting my gate as a mechanical menace, risking cervical strain, psychic distress, and urban discord. Urban discord, her flair for drama. The inspector, Dave, was laid back, middle-aged, energy drink in grip. Impressive rig, he said, admiring. Brenda spun it as a militia trap with auto turrets. I laughed. He demoed it via my vid, harmless, close, no contact. Cleared. But hobby engineers spook the city. I framed his approval next to my degree. Petty? Deliciously so. The containment gate went viral locally. Kids dared near it. Parents posed. One guy wanted a mini for coyotes. Brenda countered. Flyers at mailboxes. Emergency HOA huddle. Petition to oust me. Mrs. Thompson, our 78-year-old Spitfire, scootered a vid of Brenda's lawn rant on rebel structures and vibe traders, sending it my way. It tipped scales. HOA Pres Steve called. You've won this round. But Brenda doubled down, planting a pro sign. Future hub of Vibe Harmony Coalition, etched plaque and all. Executive Director, Brenda Hayes. I stayed silent, letting absurdity brew, while digging records. No permits for her pathway or fake org. Strike 1 and 2. Strike 3. Her launch gala string lights, chairs, branded swag. Sparse crowd. Relatives mostly, fleeing her jargon-riddled speech on pathway equity zones. I binocular watched as she stuffed mandates in mailboxes. Stepping out, phone rolling, federal crime, tampering with mail. She yanked hers back, but I'd zoomed her form demanding no barricades, pots, trucks, or dissent signs. I filed with city and state. Fraud, fake governance. Investigators arrived suited pros, multiple tips in. They toured, chuckled at her QR mess, grilled her. Her deflection failed. They cited access curbs as overreach. Signs vanished overnight. Neighbors buzzed. Was arrest imminent? I shrugged. Her last gasp. HOA patio plea, tears over targeted sabotage by yard rebels. Mrs. Thompson cammed it. Chat posted, suburban Caesar crumbles. HOA voted her out unanimously. She fled mid-count. Weeks later, a tow truck idled her fake tag on my legally parked truck, obstructing Vibe access, tow by VHC. Driver shrugged. I pointed her out, robe-clad, spectating. She's no official, just Brenda with delusions. He bailed. She charged, obstruction. Recording your felony fraud, I said. She froze, retreated. I dumped evidence at City Hall. They escalated. Her citation spreander mats, citing glare excess, on a guise or bended when she foot trespassed. Gate clicked, out now. I dialed mockingly. It's fake, she admitted. Pic snapped for files. City brass rolled in, badged her, handed a fat violation stack. Illegal builds, deceit. Remove or fines court if persistent. She dismantled in flops, eyes swollen, bagging dreams. Our block bash followed. Grills, chairs, my edited vid reel of her flops. Laughter roared. Petition banned her roles. Final nail, science fair. Brenda's Vibe ed booth drew zilch till she sniped Emily Carter's sensor traffic model. Adorable but unchecked. Vibe apocalypse. Emily, unfazed, hit a button foam arced, splattering Brenda. Crowd cheered. Vid titled Brenda vs. Brainpower hit millions. Emily shone brighter. HOA axed her fully. She vanished, resurfacing at library sales humble, book recommending. Neighborhood bloomed. Kids frolicked. Shutters went wild lime. Gate endured, a tale of triumph. Brenda smashed my barrier for convenience. I built a snare. But ultimately, it was community grit that dethroned her reign of ridiculous rules. What do you think was my elaborate trap of brilliant stand against bullies, or did I cross into vigilante territory? Should HOA tyrants like her face real consequences, or is forgiveness the neighborly way? Drop your hot takes below, smash that like if you're team revenge, and subscribe for more wild neighbor sagas.